What's up, everybody? I am Will Marsh, your co-host, and
I'm Luke Smith. What's up, guys?
Hey, we're excited about this. Again, this is our second state-to-state update now. We are coming back at you for another time because y'all did such a phenomenal job with the response and the sharing of our episode last week, Luke. So we were so excited to do this that, Luke, you have a friend with us today, don't you?
Yeah, we're with Savannah from Texas, Savannah Pointer. She's our online managing editor.
Online managing editor. It's an important title, and it's important that she's with us. So again, y'all hear what she has to say.
How are you, Savannah?
Thank you.
Hey, you with us, Savannah? Well, yeah, thank you for being here. So, yeah. So you handle. I know that we were talking last week on the episode about all the different countries that Education First is in, as well as states. And I know that there's content and there's email blasts going out, and so you handle the kind of the editing and the content that we all get to see, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
It was a typo, it wasn't me.
I like that. Very good. Well, so I think we had a couple questions for you today. I know there's been a lot happening, both with what y'all been talking about. There's been a lot going on in education, and so the first question I think that Luke had for you, Luke, you were telling me earlier that I didn't know we needed to talk about an ethics lawsuit that's being filed right now.
Yeah,
or a complaint in the state of North Carolina. So, what do y'all have on that?
Well, what do you think, Savannah? I'm gonna let you read this one off.
Okay, yeah, so essentially, Education First Alliance, we're a non-partisan group. We're just advocating for education in general, but we've got pushback from our Department of Public Instruction, and specifically their Director of Government Affairs, which is his name is James Falconberry. And we had filed a complaint asking that the State Ethics Commission look into whether or not communications between Falconberry and the North Carolina General Assembly were ethical, basically, because it's been uncovered that when he was pushing back against our concerns about critical race theory and social emotional learning, that would have been a monetary incentive for him because his wife helps sell curriculums that end up used by the state as marijuana. So his wife is.
Hey, Savannah, real quick, you broke up for a second. Wait, Savannah, you broke up for a second. Would you mind backing up real quick?
I'm sorry, I had a little bit of interference. So the person who's communicating with North Carolina General Assembly about the social emotional learning and critical race theory and taking down our analysis of that could have a monetary motive. Falconberry's wife is registered as a lobbyist and helps promote those curriculums that are used in the state of North Carolina. So we've asked the.
You what, Savannah? You still there?
On the ethics front.
Okay. Well, it looks like we just lost Savannah. I think if y'all can hear what she was saying, she was breaking up a little bit. But to go over the gist of it, she was talking about a lawsuit that it was Education First filed, right, Luke?
Not a lawsuit, but
or a complaint rather. It's kind of what it is, similar, but we want to get our terminology right. So we filed a complaint against the Department of Public Instruction's Director of Government Affairs, Mr. Falconberry, as Savannah was just saying. This has been because of what we have seen in our journalism and reporting and investigation as some shady money transactions for their own personal gain that have been done and sanctioned by the North Carolina General Assembly. It's a very, very interesting scenario, and we hope to have more on it soon if we can get Savannah back on the line with us.
Yeah, she is back.
You back with us, Savannah?
Yes, I'm so sorry about that.
We can hear you now. It's an improvement.
Okay, awesome. Did you guys catch what we were talking about earlier with our complaint?
Yeah, we did. And we were recapping while Luke was trying to get you back on the line. So essentially what we've got so far, Savannah, is that we have filed an ethics complaint against the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction's Director of Government Affairs, Mr. Falkenberry. And you were saying that this is because they have been, essentially lining their own pockets. It's been sanctioned by the North Carolina General Assembly, which is even more concerning. Did we get that right?
Well, no. It has not been sanctioned with the North Carolina General Assembly. What happened was, and I'm sorry if I was unclear about that, Falkenberry, I think, became aware that we were making some headway as far as making lawmakers know that their constituents, North Carolina parents, were really concerned about this curriculum. So, in order to prop up the curriculum and do damage control, seemingly on behalf of his wife, who's registered as a lobbyist, Falkenberry was communicating with the North Carolina General Assembly, calling us a fringe group, saying that we were doing this to line our pockets. He knows us personally. Our purpose is to fundraise. We're receiving donations, trying to make a buck by using fear and misinformation. So,
It started to sound like communism, which is what you're describing. Yeah, fear and misinformation to take control of scary things.
So we kind of got mired down in it because when someone says something like that about you, that's your government wants to pause and make sure you're not really doing that. And we obviously were not, and so we couldn't really understand why someone would say that about us, especially someone whose boss, North Carolina Superintendent Catherine Truitt, campaigned as a conservative, and conservatives on average are against critical race theory and a lot of its partner curriculums. So on further investigation, we discovered Falkenberry's out of response. We that his family was gaining monetarily from these curriculums being
You said his family is gaining.
Yeah, what were you saying, Savannah? You cut out there again at the end.
We believe that the response is due to the fact that his household is technical from these curriculums.
Hey, sorry, Savannah. Hey, I don't know if your service is bad or what. You said his household is what from curriculum views?
They're gaining monetarily.
Gaining monetarily. Okay.
Being used.
So they're making money off the curriculum as elected officials or working in government, which is what you're saying, which I think, like from our understanding, is illegal, right? Yeah, I think we've lost Savannah again, guys. But we will see if we can get her back next episode. All right, and in other news tonight, we have some more information on what's been going on in the state of Texas from our resident online managing editor in Texas, Savannah. We actually were lucky enough to get her back on with us. I think the service is better. Savannah, so we had some questions for you about this. Is it erotic curriculum? Is that the way you would put it? Tell us what's going on there.
Yeah, that's an excellent way to describe it. Essentially, the Leander ISD, which is the North Austin area, has brought in some really inappropriate curriculum, which, I mean, essentially, I'm not sure how anyone would classify it as anything other than pornography. And some of the parents were obviously really concerned and decided, this curriculum is one particular issue, and it's really horrible, and they wanted to deal with it. The second issue that popped up was once they decided to push back and really kind of exercise their right to make the schools take something like that out, they started getting just incredible harassment. Now, they, in some cases, have been able to link it to school board members. You know, they were cursed at by one, they've been harassed on social media, they've also been sent packages with pornographic materials in it. They have come home and found dead animals on their porches. I mean, they're having a really hard time of it over there, and they reached out to us because obviously it's definitely right in our wheelhouse. And when I started when I started to look over the materials that they're offering to high schoolers, I'm way too young to be seeing this, and it's insane. It's not anything that I can imagine any parent wanting their child to take part in. And so we're working with them to try and figure out a plan to not only get that stuff removed, but make sure that they have, going forward, a school board that's more receptive to what parents want their children to be taught there.
So this is wild what you're telling us, Savannah. I mean, as Luke and I are hearing this, I'm thinking, I know that a lot of this stuff is spreading, but I hope that, and I'm not for negativity at all. I think this is America and we should all get along. However, a positive off this seems like that if they're having this much trouble there now, maybe others won't jump to react and do the same thing.
Yeah, that's what we hope. You know, at first, it doesn't really matter, as we say, it doesn't matter what we think. Be us. It doesn't matter what Luke thinks or what I think, or you, the parents whose children are being educated in the public schools. They're the ones that we need to take into account. They're the ones who need to make their voices heard, and we need to make sure that school boards understand the delegation of education to the public school system is conditional on providing material to be appropriate. And the more school boards that understand is to take that plus no pornography.
Yeah.
Would also be great.
But this is really wild, and I know that, again, this is adult content here, and so we can't really go too much into the details of what they're showing. But we have these images, guys. Savannah actually sent them to us yesterday, and we will happily share them with you. So if you're interested for more on this subject, reach out to us. Reach out to your chapter leader, reach out to Luke or I, reach out to Education First on social media, and we will happily send you more information from Savannah on this. But hey, while we're on the subject of talking about this, Savannah, did you happen to see the Fox interview last night from Education First?
I sure did, and I was just so proud of the North Carolina teacher who spoke up. Sue Conrad, Education First member, she did an amazing job.
It was wasn't it, Luke?
It's crazy to me that, and it's honestly really powerful how they're starting to come out behind the shadows and actually come out publicly with their names and everything as a teacher and stand up against this stuff.
It is. So hey, if y'all haven't seen this or know what we're talking about yet, we're going to show it to you now. So here, check out the video clip, and then we'll be right back.
A group of public school teachers in North Carolina is speaking out tonight against some of the treatment they say they've gotten for pushing back against their school district's allegedly activist curriculum and mandatory anti-racism training. One of the educators joins Fox News at Night exclusively tonight. I want to bring in third grade teacher Sutter Conrad. It's good to have you with us. I think it's Suter, actually. It's great to have you with us tonight.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So tell me about this. I mean, you've been a teacher for a few years now. This seems like a new conversation, something that school boards and parents are now kind of having real disagreement about. What's been your experience? What has changed over the last couple of years for you, if anything, with regard to this?
Well, CMS or Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools is who I work for. And, we've been compelled to take 4 trainings this year on pretty much that where we had to admit our white privilege. We had to confess that we were oppressed. Part of it was a matrix of oppression is what they called it. And that we had to yield our power to marginalized people.
And we've got some of the documents on the screen so people can see what we're talking about. Groups who are considered privileged versus groups that are considered marginalized, that need to have special concessions, and that you all have been through this training. What is your concern as an educator about what you're being asked to share with students, or the way that you're supposed to filter your teaching now through this particular lens?
Well, I've seen it right now. This past year, it has been mostly training us. That way we can, I guess, really train students in this way. I've seen how the 8 years that I've been in the building that I've been in, we were very close, tight-knit faculty. And even just a year of this training, I can see how it is started to unravel that. If it's unraveling us as educators, and then we're supposed to take it into students. I know that they're very impressionable, especially being an elementary teacher. It's going to hurt them psychologically.
Well, I know a lot of people have questions. Parents do. They're trying to get clarity and transparency. I think a lot of people realize we need to have difficult conversations about slavery, about the country's past, and about how we make things better. But there are teachers and there are parents who are worried that this is something a little bit different. If you ask questions, if you raise concerns, what are you worried about in speaking out about this particular training and what you're being asked or expected to do from here?
Well, this isn't teaching history. This is teaching students to, in my opinion, really kind of dislike themselves based on who they are. If you are in that, I guess, privileged group that I know you showed the matrix, if you're in that privileged group, it's teaching you not to love yourself, in my opinion. And that really separates people. It's also showing other people that they can be, I guess, above others, and that's not what we are as a society. We should be together. Equal is very different than what they're trying to teach with the equity portion of it.
Are you worried about speaking out or asking questions internally about this?
Of course I am. You know what they say about people that speak out on these things. I'm sure the racist word will be used, but that's not what this is about. This is about protecting our children. This is about keeping them from being racist towards each other. It's anti-racism, in my opinion, to show that what they're calling anti-racism, or becoming anti-racist, as they've put it, isn't that. It is actually teaching to look at people based on their gender or their skin color instead of the content of their character. And I know the semantics can be so confusing because, the last thing I think we want is for people to talk past each other when there are difficult conversations. We got to be able to engage in it, to have as adults and as kids. And teachers are on the front lines of this, and you do a difficult job, especially this past year and moving forward. We thank you for your time and for what you're doing in the classroom as a teacher serving all kids. Thanks, Suter. Oh, I appreciate it.
All right. What did y'all think of that video? I mean, it's good stuff, right? And again, I couldn't agree with you more, Savannah. I want to commend that teacher for what they did. But now that we've seen the video, what do you think is most important that we take away from it?
Two things. One is just, I was impressed. Just earnest Suter was. She seems like she figured.
Hey, Savannah, you're starting to break up again.
You're breaking up again, Savannah. We can't hear you. We are having all kinds of IT issues today, ladies and gentlemen. We will get Savannah back momentarily if we can. You there, Savannah?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. out on issues like this is only going to keep them from being able to do their jobs. A lot of people are aware of how terrible for morale and for interpersonal interaction critical race theory has been for students and teachers. And I think Souter's assessment of the situation only proves that point further. She talked about how the teachers themselves in her building have started treating one another differently, and that's only going to spread to the kids. And that's just something that we would literally be going back in time to have children of different races treating one another differently, and that's what teachers are expecting to happen. And I'm just so glad that people are able to stand up to this and go on the record.
I couldn't agree with you more, and I couldn't have said it better myself, Savannah. I think it's very important, and you make a good point. If teachers are doing this, they're supposed to be the leaders. And, what they do rolls downhill. So if they don't set the example right, what are they doing inside the ranks of that school? It's a very dangerous game, and we're glad this interview happened, and thank you for sharing about that, Savannah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for looking into it.
Of course, thank you for joining us tonight. So we're about to bring it up to a close here. We're almost out of time. One thing we did want to talk about tonight, though, is this summer camp that we have going on, both the first and last week of August, right, Luke?
Yep.
Tell us about that.
Well, we're going to be going up Georgia, and we're in 2 counties, and we're going to be doing a journalist camp, pretty much teaching all the kids how to be undercover, go into schools, write papers, take notes, getting cameras and stuff like that in the classroom, and actually get some good material from them and see what's actually going on and try to expose it to.
Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it from us here at headquarters. We have camp going on. We want to see you there. All of us will be there, guys. And it's not just about having a good time. It's not just about networking or association. But knowledge is power, and the kind of stuff that these leaders are coming here and flying in from all over the country to Atlanta to talk to you about, that Luke's coming to work with you on this stuff, it can change your life. It can make a better world. Knowledge is power, and we want you to come join us with it. So we're excited about it. Is there something, I don't know if there's something on the website. I know that we're still working out the registration process, but do we have something on social media or on the website about the camp? How do people find more information?
We are launching it at the beginning of this coming week. So this Monday we'll be launching it.
Okay, great.
We're still on the beginning.
And what about a contact number? If people need to reach you, what's the best way to get a hold of you, Luke?
They can get a hold of me on Facebook, through my Facebook, or they can reach out to me by email to LukeSmith4567@outlook.com.
You heard it there, Luke Smith 4567 at Outlook.com. Guys, we would love to hear from you. And we would also love to know what you want us to talk about. So there's all kinds of important subjects and things going on out there. We have to make judgment calls on what is the best knowledge to share and do something with on these weekly calls. However, y'all are out there doing the do. You're working the chapters. You're involved in your legislative processes in your state. We want to hear from you. Reach out, let us know what's going on. We'd love to bring you on the show, guys. This has been the State Update, episode 2, right, Luke?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. We have had Luke Smith, Jessica Pointer.
No, Savannah Pointer.
Savannah Pointer. I'm butchering stuff left and right. Maybe I misheard it on the spotty audio. Savannah, thank you for being with us tonight. Do you have anything else for us before we head out of here?
No, just thank you so much for having me, and thank you everybody who's paying attention and getting active in their communities. We can't say enough good things about you.
Very well put. Thank you, Savannah. Well, again, y'all heard it from her, or visit us at edfirstnc.org. Later, guys. See you next week.